See the topic, man. Woo, this one's spicy. There is no real reward in being a hoe. Oh my god. Listen, I already did You Can't Turn a Hoe into a Housewife. That one did well. I was like, it's time for another one of these, right? So here's the deal. You gotta understand that why I say there is no real reward in being a hoe is because there's no real stability in that. You get what I'm saying? And we can honestly say this, right? Being a whore or hoeing or selling your body as a resort of making ends meet, that's got to be one of the oldest professions in the book. But here's the thing about it that a lot of people don't understand. Well, some women don't understand, or some people, right? When you're a whore or you practice being a hoe, that is a never-ending game. And it doesn't really have a lot of good endings to it. And I'm going to explain that. First and foremost, you got to understand that when you're a hoe, you're a liability. You feel me? And I say this in the nicest, most kindest way. When you're a hoe, you're a liability. And I'm going to tell you why. When you're a hoe, you're unstable. You're playing hopscotch. You're here. You're there. You're over there. You're over here. You're everywhere, right? You're not stable. You're not balanced. I'm not saying hoes can't have money and be put up or whatever, but the fact of somebody wanting to lock them down and be like Ash Ketchum and capture them like a Pokemon, that's not going to happen because hoes are known for ripping and running, right? I.e., they're not stable. They're going to be moving around. You got to understand this. What makes a hoe so risky is that you who has worked hard in your life, man or woman, right? You've worked so hard, and now you got a person that they love me or they this, that, and the third. They make it seem that way, but I'm just going to keep it real. When you have a hoe on your timeline, either the sex is good or whatever the case may be, but they're not real stable people because they're known for ripping and running. They're here, they're there, everywhere. Just the analogy that I use. So you feeling like, you got enough resources, or you're the man, or you're the woman, that they're going to slow down their hoeing game for you. I'm here to tell you that that's not real reality. So here's the deal, right? As a hoe, you got to understand that being a sex worker or using your body as leverage for work, guess what? That comes with a lot of stress, wear, and tear, all right? So when you use your body to generate income or funds or whatever the case may be, let's say you've been doing that for a year or two, right? And it's gotten you a couple trips, it's gotten you an apartment, bills to be paid or whatever, it got you some clientele. You got to understand that you playing this game of hopscotch and roll the dice and rip and run and who's the highest bidder, you're burning yourself out over time to the point where shit doesn't even really matter to you, bro. And you got to understand, a person who is choosing to be a whore, they're choosing to use their body in order to attain money. Not their hard work and efforts and the gifts that God gave them. They're working on shit that they developed and using it to the real world so they can get what it is that they want. I.e., using my body, using my mouth, using whatever it is body parts you have to satisfy somebody so you can live the lifestyle that you want. So, here's the deal. Aside from you being used up, burnt out, all of that there, you're going to develop a lot of mental health from that, right? Because the lifestyle you lived of living fast or whatever the case may be, whether to get the bucks or to retire early, what was that really used for? And as well as that, let's say you do get to where it is that you want to be, the land of milk and honey. Who's to not say that if you have a child that you won't be scarring your child mentally from that? Remember, I did a video about this. Your past can come back to haunt you. Kim Kardashian was doing a show and her son seen her porn video live. That's got to be traumatizing for a child. You got to understand this as well, right? When you're out here being a whore, you're going to develop a track record that's going to what? It's going to follow behind you. So example into that, right? Let's say a girl used to be out there since middle school or high school. She could still look good, or she probably may not look as hot as she used to, but guess what? She put in her time from young. What some people don't realize is her ability to power bond, which is true, to lock in with one person and be there with steadily one person, that's going to be that much harder because you're used to bouncing around, coasting, cruising, head first in, all there. You feel me? You're doing everything in the world. You're not used to being with one person. You're just used to moving around, ripping and running how you want to. You got to understand that when you cannot power bond with people, that's like saying you don't have the attention span to be there with that one person. You feel me? You're going to revert to chances are what you used to, which is entertaining, being around, living a lifestyle that you want. Why do you think there's a lot of hoes who end up with simps? And it's like, oh, well, I let her do whatever it is that she wants, because you ain't never had no pussy like that before. You ain't that experienced to life. So you're willing to conform and fold and put a ring on the thought, because why? You don't really got no real outside experience like that. You feel me? Give you an example into that, right? You ever seen that show, The Wayans Brothers? That's one of my favorite shows as a kid. There was this episode on The Wayans Brothers where Marlon was dating this girl, right? And the girl he was dating was a girl named Angel. I don't know if anybody here watches that show. I learned a lot about life through that show. One of the girls, Angel, basically was dating Marlon, and come to find out, Marlon was supposed to meet his homies by the pool hall. And they say, yo, where's Marlon? They was like, oh, Marlon caught up with his new little girlfriend, Angel, right? So his homies was like, yo, ain't that so crazy? He got a girl named Angel. He was like, you remember that one girl, Angel, we knew? He was like, yeah, boy, every brother in town know about Angel, right? You got to understand, when you're a hoe or you have a track record behind you, it don't matter. If people know you like that, you have a track record behind you. If you're known for robbing and stealing, people know you as that. If you were a hoe back home, guess what? People know you as that. It's either you got to pick up and go elsewhere to develop a new name and a new reputation if you didn't change your ways yet. You feel me? The man brought the girl in there and they was like, get the hell out of here. He was like, yep, that's Angel, all right. That's the same girl who they was talking about. She was a hoe. Whether you may believe it or not, yes, the girl could change their way. Yes, people can change their ways, but you got to understand something. You choosing to be what? Head first with it. Living that lifestyle, that track record follows you. So if people know you to be a certain kind of a way, it's going to be damn near hard for people want to believe that what? That you changed. You feel me? This man literally had a girl who cared about him, but guess what? I'd be paranoid as hell if I heard she was a big time hoe back in the days, bruh. Because what? She could be doing that on your time. You got to understand that there are some people, yes, they get caught in the phase of life, and that's what they knew growing up, or they never had proper guidance. But you got to understand something. If you're not catching on to certain things that you're doing, you can school yourself like that in life. The only people that are really willing to accept hoes like that is dudes with no real experience, or some dudes who's willing to benefit off of you, who have common sense. You get what I'm saying? A lot of people aren't willing to go that route anymore because why? They see that it's not beneficial. I could work my hardest and do everything right, but because you're used to thotting and bopping and moving and coasting and cruising, you can take everything it is that I work hard for and just go live your little thotting ass life. Correct. That's why a lot of people look at hoes as what? A liability. AKA you're too what? You're too risky. I don't have time for that. So long story short, in that whole scenario, he caught the girl with some other dude. Come to find out it was the girl's brother. I wouldn't believe her at all anyways. I'm not finna disrespect you, but at the same time, you gotta understand, if you're known to be a certain kind of way, or you're doing certain things, or you have a track record that follows you of 50 years, this person did this, and now a person gotta believe, yo, you change your ways. Some people gotta be iffy about that, dog. So that's why I said being a hoe, there's no real reward in being that. Yes, you can accumulate funds. Yes, you can get to certain levels. But you got to understand, you damage your reputation along the way, bruh. So you got to sit there and look at it. Is my reputation worth money? Is my reputation worth what people respect me to be? Some people got to sit down and answer this shit, bruh. Because you know that there's some people who compromise the respect that they gained, or they compromise whatever it is for money and fame and whatever the case may be, so they could get to where they need to be. I don't care what people think about me, as long as what? As long as I got my money. As long as I made it to the next level. You could call me this, that, and the third. And then some people suffer slowly later on down the line and learn, yo, the money I accumulated in exchange for my reputation and people knowing me to be a hoe, it wasn't what? It wasn't worth it. Look at like Superhead, bruh. Superhead had to settle down with a rich old dude, bruh. It ain't even like she messing with the dudes that she really wants to. You had to probably settle down with this old, dried, wrinkled up ass dude, and now you got a jit by him. God forbid if your son grows up to finding out what you really was doing when you was younger. Not judging nobody, but you got to understand, some people don't really think long term like that, bruh. Some people think about around the corner. Bruh, if I finesse this person or I screw this person over, I'm going to get my money. Some people don't think about 10, 12 years down the line. And I'm going to screw your head up with this one. Do you know that based on how you lived as a youngin' or how you lived before, you can in turn screw up your own kids, bruh? Example. You was out here being a gangster and a thug, this, that, and the third. How you know if people don't perceive your kids will pick up and do the same shit that you did? Now you just low-key put a target on your own kids' back. Oh, such and such used to rob this, that, and the third back in the days. People don't care about all of that shit. Some people do it just for the glorification and the respect. But are you truly being respected? No. People just looking at you, oh, you one of them people who just did it for the hype and did it for the fame. Versus like example, some people who really had to do certain things to get to the next level. You know that there's some people who chose to be a hoe versus what? Going to get a job. My little nephew told me, he was like, Uncle, I'm not going to lie. Literally right after graduation, a girl I went to school with, she said, yep, as soon as I walk across this stage, I'm going straight to the strip club. I'm applying. Nigga, you didn't even try yet in life, dog. You ready to go to the pole? Exactly. Because some people, they don't want to go through the extra missions. They don't want to go and take the hard route. Some people want what's easier. Let me sell my body. Let me use this person. Let me trick this person. Let me confuse this person. That's why I said being a hoe there's no real reward in it, dog. You might get temporary rewards, but it's not like that longevity. You feel me? It's just like if a person chooses, yo, straight up, do I want to work hard or do I just want to bullshit all day long? And if you bullshit all day long, you can't sit there and be mad at, yo, what happened with me bullshitting? You bullshitted your whole life, dog. There's some people, example in the world we have now with women. There's a lot of women who starting to wake up to the truth like, oh, Kevin Samuels was telling the truth. Yeah. What men do, some women can't do. But at the same time, it's not a challenge. It's just saying that to save you. It may sound harsh, but it's to save you so you don't go down the wrong path. How many people you know out here struggling as a single parent can't do certain things? Because why? It's not, I don't have my spouse, I don't have this. Some people chose money over loyalty and love and shit like that. You got to understand this, bro. In life, you choosing the wrong things is going to put you in problems. Financial instability. While some may earn a decent income as a whole, guess what? There are some hoes who suffer. You got used to the lifestyle? I can't sell myself or whatever for $100 anymore. I'm used to $500. Sometimes you screw yourself mentally for certain things, bro. Just because you were trying to be a hoe. Be fast, live in all of that shit. I'm telling you right now, from personal like knowledge, of certain people I've seen close to me, I'm telling you right now, hoes do not really win at the end of the day. There's no real reward and no, oh man, being a hoe paid off. Bruh, there's consequences to that shit. There's consequences. You feel me? You being financially unstable, or you live in a certain lifestyle and then now all of a sudden, yo, I can't live this lifestyle no more. Look at example. When certain people were living on a high, oh, my man isn't going to leave me or my girl isn't going to leave me. Now people starting to wake up to information. People like, yeah, this person was just using you. They was gaslighting you. That's what makes people what? Walk away. The lack of respect. You feel me? You got to understand, like, all around, you got to understand that being a hoe, there's no real rewards in that shit, dog. You're not going to get like this big old plaque for being a whore and all. Bro, like, there's no real benefits to that shit, dog. You're going to have yourself in some problems. Some hoes do get married. Some, they stay to themselves. But you got to understand, if you forfeited somebody you really wanted to be a hoe and live and please the world, that's probably chances are going to come back to bite you in the ass, dog. You got to choose things wisely. You feel me? No, I'm not perfect. None of us are perfect. But if I can help you make a better decision so you can have a brighter tomorrow, I won. I'm happy as hell. You feel me? With that being said, remember this. Words can help you. They can hurt you. But here on my channel, I'm going to uplift you because everybody's a champion. Nobody's a loser, man. 440 for the world, man. Just understand this. In life, we all make mistakes. Everybody makes mistakes. Nobody's perfect. I'm not perfect. But as long as you're able to recognize where you went wrong at, or how you can try and rebuild a situation or fix a situation, try your hardest to do that. Don't be a person who threw their life away trying to live and please the world and be a hoe and live and keep up with the Joneses, bruh. It's gonna come back to bite you in the ass. You feel me? 440 for the world, man. Peace.